Sophia and her husband, who were college classmates, celebrated their 10th wedding anniversary with their son, who was about to enter elementary school. According to Sophia, her husband was very kind to consider it when they were dating. However, after they got married, she discovered that her husband was incredibly selfish and put his needs above hers and their son's. He would get angry whenever she suggested doing something for their son, like attending his once-in-a-lifetime entrance ceremony or starting extracurricular activities. He would demand that Sophia prioritize taking easy care of him instead of their son. Frustrated with her self-centered husband, she decided to take action. Sophia unleashes her anger on her selfish husband who neglects his family. Husband said, "Don't go to son's school event, take care of me instead." I reached my limit and took action. I married a horribly selfish husband. I want to talk about the time when my anger towards him reached its limit and I hammered him with my anger. First, I want to talk about my family. We are a couple in our 10th year of marriage with our son Noah, who will soon enter elementary school. My husband William is a salesperson for a large corporation, estheticians, and I work as a freelance designer from home. We met in a university club and quickly became close. At that time, I thought he was a very considerate and kind person, but it turned out that it was just a facade. After getting married, William began to show his true nature. He had rigid ideas that men work outside the home while women do household chores, child-rearing, and obey men. He told me to quit my job when Noah was born. His earnings were not considerable, and we planned to buy our current apartment a few years later. So I decided to take maternity leave and childcare leave and continue working. While I worked from home, all the household chores and taking care of Noah were left to me. William said that our son belonged only to him and that my son and I should obey him. Despite leaving all childcare to me, he was quite strict with Noah, and there were times when he would not let our son do what he wanted. It was rare for them to play or talk together, and Noah was afraid of his father. As time passed, Noah is now almost an elementary school student. He and I have just been busy choosing his school backpack and suit for the entrance ceremony. My husband has been busy with work and prioritizing his days off, so he has never come shopping with us. On the other hand, my parents-in-law took us shopping for the backpack and wanted to buy it as a gift. Look, Mom, I chose a black and red backpack. Isn't it nice?
For the suit, I went with a blue tie. You picked a cool backpack. Will you put it on later and show it to me? Sure. Take lots of pictures. Okay, I'm excited for elementary school. I wonder if I'll make a lot of friends. Kevin is going to the same elementary school too. We can study and play together.
My son spoke happily while we ate dinner. I also felt truly happy. The entrance ceremony was a day where I could see my son's best moment in his life. I was really looking forward to it. Even though my husband had not accompanied us for the shopping preparation, I thought he felt the same way as I did. However, one day, a week before the entrance ceremony, he said something absurd.
I'm off work next Friday. It's the day of Noah's entrance ceremony, isn't it?
Yes. It's great that you're off on that day. the two of us can go see our son's entrance ceremony together.
We don't have to go to the ceremony. Just take care of me.
Huh, what do you mean?
I'm tired from work every day. Please let me rest on my days off. You have to prepare my meals and do housework. There's no need to go to his ceremony. Do you have a problem with what I'm saying?
It's not that I have a problem, but it's normal for a parent to want to see their child's big day. Why do I have to miss this big day for your sake? I've never heard of parents not attending their child's entrance ceremony.
I work hard outside every day for you guys who are lazing around at home. Of course, I want to relax on my day off.
Ella is looking forward to seeing us at that ceremony too. It's sad if no one goes. And as for work, I'm also working from home. There's no day off for housework and childcare.
Alice, shut up. Oh, your income's just a drop in the bucket. Who do you think is supporting you two? If you have a problem, we can get a divorce.
He brought the divorce papers with this part already filled out and placed it on the dining table, sitting on the chair with a smug look, staring at me. This is his usual tactic to make me listen. Buten is if he hints at divorce. I have no choice but to comply because I make less than he does. Knowing this, he always threatens divorce during any argument to try and make me listen to him. When an argument reaches this point, he would not listen to anything I say. I stopped talking and sighed in resignation.
Okay, I'll prepare the meal on the entrance ceremony day.
You wouldn't want a divorce for our son's sake, would you?
I was incredibly angry at my husband's attitude, but I had to endure and listen to him for now, as it wasn't the right time to argue with him yet. To cut to the chase, I was the only one who attended Noah's entrance ceremony. My husband usually doesn't wake up until noon on his days off, so I prepared breakfast on the dining table just in case and secretly left the house while he was still sleeping. I told him that I would prepare the meal, but I hadn't said a word about not going to our son's entrance ceremony. But it was really good to attend his ceremony. I was able to see how much he had grown up. Noah looked bigger and more dignified than usual as he entered the gymnasium in a line and responded loudly to his name being called one by one, facing the direction of the parents' seat. I waited for his turn anxiously.
Noah?
Yes,
My son replied in a voice that echoed through the gymnasium, and he looked very proud, making me feel very happy to see his growth. Just when he replied and looked back, he seemed to have found me and was smiling happily from then on. I knew I would face criticism from my husband later, but I couldn't change the fact that I had seen my son's significant growth. As I anticipated, things were tough after we got home. After receiving an explanation about his upcoming school life and having lunch, we decided to go home, and it was already past 2 p.m. when we arrived.
I'm home. Sorry for being late.
Dad, I'm home. I was able to answer my teacher like I was supposed to.
My son started talking happily, but my husband seemed irritated and said, "Shut up, be quiet."
Tori, Dad, I'm home. I was able to answer my teacher like I was supposed to.
My son, who'd expected to be praised, was surprised and burst into tears.
William, that's not the way to talk to your son. Noah did his best and answered his teacher. Can't you listen to him? Tell him how proud you are of him.
But I told you not to go to the ceremony, didn't I? I'm out.
I said I would prepare the meal, but I didn't say I wouldn't go to the ceremony. I made you breakfast, right?
Who will take care of me on my day off? Though it's your job. I've even had lunch yet.
The breakfast on the dining table was neatly eaten and the dishes were in the sink. He had apparently been waiting without eating anything because I hadn't prepared him lunch. Prepare your own meal. You're not a child. Come on! I can't imagine not attending my son's entrance ceremony, which only happens once in a lifetime. When I objected, my husband, as usual, pulled out divorce papers.
I'm hungry. Hurry up and prepare something. I'll be you two probably already ate something. But you're in no position to leave your husband behind at home starving. And, serious himself, you don't like what I'm doing, I can divorce you.
Basic successity. It was another divorce paper to make me obey him. I took it and put it in my bag.
Come on, take care of me quickly. You can't raise a child alone, can you?
I didn't have a way to confront my unreasonable husband. I had no choice but to accept his selfish demands for now. I freed-danced. I'm full of frustration as I try to comfort my crying son. However, I knew that we weren't ready yet, and I had no choice but to patiently endure.
After her son's joyful entrance ceremony, Sophia's husband began making one selfish demand after another.
Finally, Sophia reached her limit. 3 months had passed since my son started school, and he came home one day expressing his desire to learn something new.
Mom, I want to learn soccer. It was so much fun during gym and lunchtime. An older boy in 2nd grade taught me. Jack has been learning soccer since he was in preschool. I want to take soccer lessons too.
Soccer sounds great. Maybe we can go watch a soccer team practice sometime.
Really? Yay.
I'd always wanted to encourage my son to pursue his interests, so I began searching for information on a nearby soccer team.
But then my husband interrupted.
Yeah, but then my husband interrupted. Soccer is stupid. It's a waste of money to let Noah learn it.
Let him take what he wants. It's important to support a child's interests. He found something he likes to do on his own, and as parents, it's our duty to let him explore that.
Even if I said so, William said when he starts lessons, he'll be going out more on weekends for practice and games.
His censors, he was going to take care of me during that time. I won't allow everyone to disappear every week. You and Noah just have to listen to me and live according to my wishes.
My husband continues to be selfish and unreasonable.
Mom, can't I play soccer? Can't I learn soccer?
When I saw my son looking at me sadly, I made up my mind.
I understand your argument well, but I will let my son play soccer. I won't listen to the words of someone who is not even my husband. We will do what we want.
I'm not your husband. What are you talking about?
William seemed to be saying he didn't understand what I was saying. You didn't understand what I said? If you don't believe me, should I show you the evidence?
I took out the family register copy of me and my son from my bag and slammed it in front of my husband. His name wasn't written in the husband column of the family register copy. On the day of Noah's entrance ceremony, I filled out my side of the divorce papers and turned it in. Turned.
What did you just say? What did you do? Explain it to me now.
I told you I'd think a little more about our life together, didn't I? This is what I came up with. I have already submitted the divorce papers.
Wait a minute, there's no way I was serious about the divorce. Go to the city hall right now and cancel the divorce. I just wrote it to make you change your mind and take care of me properly.
Oh, is that what you thought? You always made a big deal out of divorcing every time something happened. So I was thinking about whether I could continue living with you. I thought about it carefully and decided to get a divorce.
Dacian, but still, what about her son's custody? We haven't even talked about it yet. Gouge you.
There's no longer a marital relationship between you and me. Our son's registry is under my name, and he's no longer legally your son. Did you really think you could get custody after verbally? Using Noah every day.
Piece of fire. What did you just say? I can't believe you did that. Why didn't you, discuss it with me first before making such a decision?
I had already had enough of a husband who prioritized his own care over our son's entrance ceremony. Out the divorce papers, which had been used as a threat as usual, and submitted them to the city hall. That was the end of our marriage. There was no excuse for him to act so high and mighty.
Even if you submit the divorce papers, how are you gonna live without me? Your income as a freelancer is lower than mine. You can't possibly raise a child alone.
Don't worry about that. My freelance work has actually expanded from this month and my salary has increased. To be honest, I make more money than you now.
But this is my first time hearing that.
Of course it is. I never told you.
What are you gonna do about a place to live after the divorce? Is there anywhere else you can go besides this apartment?
We are divorced, so of course I have no intention of living with you anymore. I've already found an apartment for my son and me to live in after I filed for divorce. I've also hired a lawyer to sort out everything you have done and to make sure you pay alimony and child support. Be ready to pay. I've been considering when to tell you about the divorce. I'm glad I was finally able to tell you.
My husband slumped and held his head in his hands, saying, "What am I supposed to do now? Who will take care of me?" That's what he said. I couldn't stand the way he was only thinking about himself. Even in this situation, if you want someone to take care of you, why don't you hire a housekeeper? Or you can ask your parents if you can stay with them. My son and I are moving to a new house from today, so good luck paying off the mortgage for this apartment. My feelings for him disappeared entirely once the divorce was finalized, and I left the house with my son that day. This was the reason why I let my husband do what he wanted on the ceremony day. I'd been waiting for the business to expand and know for sure that I would earn enough to support the two of us before filing for divorce, and immediately started looking at apartments. We found a great one in a location where my son would not have to change schools, and I secretly began preparing for the movie, waiting for the right time to confront William with the fact that we were already divorced. My husband is unable to live alone, but that was no longer my concern after the divorce. Later, I left home with my son and went to a law firm to discuss finances. I had recorded many of my ex-husband's actions and presented them to the lawyer, who was impressed with the evidence I had gathered. I was confident that I would be able to receive a fair settlement and child support. I was ready start my new life with my son. His words and actions on my smartphone, so the talk with the lawyer went smoothly.
I had recorded many of my ex-husband's words and actions on my smartphone, so the talk with my lawyer went smoothly.
I had saved some of the divorce papers that my husband frequently threatened me with, which also served as evidence.
Through the lawyer, we agreed that William would pay alimony and child support. Before living with me, he had lived with his parents and had not done any housework, so his house had become a garbage dump, causing complaints from neighbors. If he can't do it himself, he should hire a housekeeper, but his pride wouldn't allow it, and he didn't have the extra money for it anyway. There are also large amounts of compensation and child support to pay, and he can't afford to pay the mortgage on his own. So he plans to sell the place and move to a cheaper apartment in the future. By the way, when he told his family that we had divorced, his parents apparently scolded him severely and even refused to let him return home. My in-laws really love my son, so we still visit them several times a month, and they treat us well. I'm thankful for them. My son and I live in an apartment together. Since I work remotely, I can watch my son grow up close and enjoy balancing housework and childcare every day. At first, Noah felt lonely because his father wasn't there, but he was already afraid of his father, so he easily adapted to living with just the two of us. We found a soccer club that some of his friends from the elementary school district also attend, which he had wanted to do. He enjoys going to the soccer club, and there are even matches for younger grades. I'm busy picking him up and dropping him off for practice almost every day after school and cheering him on during weekend games. I'm happy that my son enjoys school and soccer the most. I think it was good to separate from my ex-husband for my son and myself. I want to continue to enjoy my son's growth and live a happy life.
Sophia's selfish husband believed that taking care of himself was the top priority, even if it meant being strict with Sophia and their son.
With my plan, her husband became unable to live alone and fell into a path of destruction. She and her son were able to live happily. If you were married to a partner who was as selfish as Sophia's husband, how would you overcome this situation? You do not own your partner or your child. It's important to respect each other and to live together. Thank you for watching until the end. It would be great if you could give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Comments are also welcome, so please feel free to leave them. Let's meet again in the next video.